article is rejected without being sent it to the peer reviewer. The editor itself will reject the article. Today evening you are submitting your article, within 1 or 2 days you will get a decision. Suppose if the editor wants to send your paper to the reviewer, it may take 4 to 8 weeks or maybe more than that also. So without being sent it to the reviewer, if your paper is rejected, that is desk rejection. Even in the editorial office itself, it is rejected means desk rejection. What are the reasons? One. Because of poor English. First reason is because of poor English. Second, use active voice, don't use passive voice. I eat mango, 3 words. The mango is eaten by me. Meaning is same, but unnecessarily 7, it costs 7 words. So try to write always using active voice. Have all co-authors check and sign it off. You suppose if you have 5 co-authors, ask them to sign everyone. That I have read and approved the final manuscript. We agree with the order of the author. We have sufficiently contributed for the article. Just write it and take a signature with all authors. Make sure that the manuscript has a relevant title. Give a very relevant title, unique title. Next. C. Salad, cucumber. Instead of mentioning salad, you can mention cucumber. What does it mean? Specificity. What does it mean? Specificity. So, always you should be professional by specifying the things in the title. நம்ம கரெக்டாக வந்து சாலட் போட்டுடலாம். குக்கும்பர் இருக்குது, கேரட் இருக்குது உள்ள அந்த சாலட். அந்த மாதிரி ஸ்பெசிஃபிக்காக நீங்கள் டைட்டில் கொண்டு வரணும். அடுத்து மேக் ஷூர் தட் அப்ஸ்ட்ராக்ட் இஸ் கன்சைஸ். ஸோ ஏற்கனவே சொல்லியிருக்கேன், அப்ஸ்ட்ராக்ட் should have a background and problem statement, method, result and conclusion. No discussion. Put the abstract in the right structure. Some journal may ask you to come up with a structured abstract, some journal non-structured abstract. Okay, so you go according to the author's guidelines. Do a graphical abstract. Graphical abstract is abstract which is drawn, not written by a sentence. Most of the elsewhere in the journal they ask you to submit a graphical abstract. If anyone want to understand your work, graphically you present it. More chances for you to get your paper accepted. Next, make sure that your study should contain a novel or innovative aspect. At least you have 5% novel, 10% novel. That innovative aspect should be there in the title itself. No references in the abstract. Don't cite any references in the abstract. If you cite a reference in the abstract, it may face desk rejection. Use recent references as much as possible. Suppose if you have 40 references, use 50% of recent references. 20 references, 2024, 23, 22, 21, 20 last 5 years experience are recent references. Then after that you can cite any reference, 1997, 2001, does not matter. Content and structure should fit the journal scope. It should be IMRAD style. IMRAD means leave abstract. Abstract is a standalone. IMRAD means introduction, materials and method, results and discussion. That is IMRAD. I means introduction, M means material, R stands for results and D stands for discussion. In that state it should follow. Next, make life easier for the journal editor. Write a very good cover letter, then submit it and follow the instruction. Do not communicate the editor frequently. Suppose after you submit your paper, within week or 2 weeks, what is the status of my paper? What is the status of my paper? Don't ask him. Don't communicate the editor unless you are not hearing anything from the editorial office for 6 months at least. Then you can directly contact the editor. That's not a matter. Next, so 13th point. Hypothesis must be very clear. Hypothesis is the part of introduction. இப்படிலாம் பண்ணால் the problem solve ஆகும். அதே hypothesis. That must be very clear. The study should use acceptable methodology. You cannot use the methodology of your own. It should be universally identified. I mean, universally accepted methodology that you should use it. Okay? Prove that you are up to date by citing a recent references. Figures and the captions should be very clear. Captions means you are writing figure 1. What does it indicate? The title. Then after that, what does the figure say? Write down a small paragraph. Don't simply give only the title. Give a small caption that always shows your potential. Next, referencing should be comprehensive and in the right format. should be maybe Harvard style or Vancouver style. What the style, the journal where you are going to submit your paper asking. Accordingly, you have to format the references. Not too few or too many references. If it is a research paper, don't go for more than 60. Same time, don't go for less than 15. At least it should be between 20 to 40. 20 to 40 or 45, even 50 sometimes. But don't cite 70, 80 references in research paper. Too many references. A good cover letter can sell the paper very easily. So cover letter, next. These are the component of cover letter. What do you want? First, you should mention that it is original and unpublished. Second, you should mention that it is not submitted to any other journal. Only your journal you are submitting. All authors agree with the manuscript. You just outline the work. Then write an author contribution. Dr. Kumaran Shanmugam made a concept of the work. He did a preliminary literature search, and after he did an experiment. Once the result got, he analyzed the result. Dr. Balakumar supervised the result. He wrote the first draft of the manuscript. Whatever the contribution, you write. Contribution of the authors. Source of funding. Even if your work is not funded, write down this work has not been supported by any funding. These all things should be there in the cover letter. Then conflict of interest. Normally you don't have any conflict of interest. You ask me later on what is conflict of interest, I will give you explanation. Next. Treat the rejection as your fault, not the fault of editor. Don't scold the editor. If your paper is rejected, don't scold the editor. It is your fault. Treat that is your fault, not the fault of editor. Next. That's all. Conclusion. So these 20 points you should keep in your mind. Definitely your paper will get a way for very smooth acceptance if you follow these all things. Okay, dear colleagues. Thank you. Next week, Diwali.